from Inkunzi Wealth. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
So it seemed even the most pessimistic predictions were -1. How do we get to -2.2?
Yeah, look, I mean, these numbers are very volatile, Francis. But I really think that this one really caught many people off guard. I mean, the biggest
Were you
driver.
disappointed?
Look, I mean, it's very disappointing. But if you look at the same number for last year, it had to be revised from a very negative number to a positive number. And if you look at the fact that in the last quarter of last year, the number was 3.38% against a relatively muted expectation from the market. But this time around, people were looking at a minimum of 0.5% lower for the quarter, up to 1%, like you said. So, yeah, people are still very concerned. It's a very big shocker. Yeah. But again, I reiterate that these numbers have been revised upwards in the past. I don't know if that's going to be the case this time around, because the biggest contributors, agriculture, manufacturing, etc., they took a really big knock. Yeah. So I think it'll take a lot of work to redo what's been lost in the quarter.
And it depends what you compare. So this is comparing the first quarter to the last quarter of last year.
Yes.
If you look at the first quarter of last year on year, it's called. Yeah. Should we cling to that? At least there's some growth, 0.8%.
Yeah, definitely. But we need 2% growth. So we still need a lot of, a lot, I don't want to say miracles. We still have to do a lot of work, Francis, to get to that 2% that the IMF and the World Bank and the Treasury Department is thinking we will get to at some point.
So agriculture was huge, 24.2%. Apparently a lot of harvesting happens in the first part of the year. So this is serious. It says that the farmers could be even in more trouble than we thought.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think it's the decline of 20% is quite significant. Some people pointing out that horticulture now contributes quite significantly to that number, because we're big exporters of horticultural products. So now a decline in this sector and in that particular subsector of the agricultural sector has brought all this decline to the rest of the indicators. But I think, like I've said before, these numbers have been revised going forward. But the rhetoric then, in my view, is just to say, what does this mean for these cerulean years that we've been harping on about, that we're all excited about? But I don't know that in the history of the country there's been a president that's turned the country around in the first 4 months of bringing charge, especially when it comes to GDP. The wheels turn very slowly. They turn very slowly, but they are turning, in my view. The environment to attract foreign investors is being created, and I am hoping that in the next 2 quarters at least, we'll start to see some of that of the hard work being done now starting to bring some results through FDI, foreign investments coming into the country.
So this is important, because a lot of people are saying maybe that Ramaphoria, that optimism on the markets because of the political changes was completely overstated. But you're saying give the president more time.
No, I mean, not even just the president. Give the country, give the sectors, manufacturing, agriculture, mining, and give the rest of the world a chance to do their work, because you need to do due diligence before you come and pump money into South Africa. You need to believe that the changes that are being made are here to stay. They're not just cosmetic. Trust me, we deal with investors from overseas. Those guys take 3 months to 5 months to do due diligence on just a very small project. When now you have to change your country view, it doesn't happen overnight. So I think maybe let's do a little bit of a self-introspection and, hopefully find a little bit of room to give the current administration a chance to go out and attract more investors, and give the investors a chance to assess South Africa and see if there's room to invest.
Do we need those foreign investors? Some people look at the stats and say, actually, you should encourage local investment, and that should happen quicker, should it not?
Look, we need both, because there's a big drive to shift money into emerging markets that's been happening over the past 10 to 15 years. So guys started taking money out of the country over the past sort of 5 to 7 years because of the drama that we had in terms of the political environment that was uncertain. And political stability is a very important element, Francis, when investors make decisions, especially in emerging markets. So I think that if we can convince the people outside that we are stable, they will bring money into South Africa. But it's also important to create a local environment that attracts business people to start releasing that so-called cash stash of 700 billion rands to start boosting the economy as well. We need as much for FDIs as possible, and at the same time we need the South African business people to have confidence in the economy to start investing.
So how long? Because it seems like we're caught in the global ructions right now. It seems like we're stuck no matter who's president, no matter what changes there are to state-owned entities, it's going to be very difficult to come out of this.
Look, we know where the problems are. Implementation, we know that we need to be implementing the NDP. We need to be implementing everything that the ANC and the leadership of Cyril Ramaphosa has said needs to be done. And we are seeing some of that implementation happening in the state-owned enterprises. But now, are we really aggressively going on to say, NDP, here we are, this is how we're going to control this? Are we happy with the level of fighting crime in the country? Or there's still just so much of it, such that there's a little bit of a negative sentiment about people coming to invest in the country? I mean, all these cash heists are not doing the country any favor. But here's the thing, a presidential or government term in the country is a 5-year period. So whatever implementation needs to happen, can we really fairly expect it to happen even in the first year of this current presidency? Can we honestly, realistically expect to see big changes happening? I don't think so. Probably, in my view, towards the end of the second year, that's when we can start to see some of the results of the current hunting for foreign capital to come in, and local investors saying these changes being made are serious. We're not going backwards. Instead, we're taking the country forward. Then you start to see people bringing billions into the country to invest. And I can attest to that. We are talking currently to foreign investors on one of our projects, and the guys are more than happy to plug money into the country, speaking to people in Belgium, speaking to people in the UK, and they're saying the environment has changed, and they know more about our political environment than we supposedly do, and because they will put their money behind all this research that they're doing. So the guys are ready to invest. We just need to stay the course and go and make sure that we sell a good story about the country.
Okay, so give some time for change. But
definitely.
In the meantime, apparently what's really disappointing here is the trade figures, how much people are spending. It shows that money is tight.
Yes.
And that comes as there's a hefty fuel price hike tonight. So that'll bite very hard.
Yeah, hey, it talks to policy once again, right? Where you buy fuel, a litre of fuel in Botswana costs you 10 rands and 56 cents. Here, as from midnight tonight, to be paying 15.79. Out of that, Francis, about 4 rands and 20 is other taxes and other state responsibilities, like the road accident fund. I think we're paying 1 rand 63 for that, and then for the fuel levy, we're paying about 3 rands and 37 odd cents. Now, if you think about it, really, should we be paying that? Is the government doing the right thing by overkilling us on the fuel pricing? I do suspect that we need to be treating this latest fuel price increase in the same manner that the VAT price increase was treated, because it definitely hits home. It hits transport, it hits food production, it hits producers of stuff out there, factories, mines. They're going to be hit by this high fuel price increase, Francis, and I think it's not realistic.
You mean try and protect the poor?
Yes, basically the whole country, because it's not just about protecting the poor. You have to protect the capitalists as well, who are mining stuff out there and creating these jobs. You have to create, you have to protect the people that are creating jobs, so that employing people doesn't cost us too much cash. So, the fuel price is a big concern, and I'm worried that if the currency continues to weaken and the fuel price, or rather the oil price, stays above $75 a barrel, we could be in for another price increase, Francis.
Yeah, and we'll have to look at second quarter GDP as well.
Yes.
That fuel price increases, all that hitting in that second quarter. Thank you. We've run out of time.